Back by popular demand is Mike Davis. We appreciate you always letting us know how much you appreciate Mike jumping on the air with us. He is the founder of Article 3 Project. I always like to tell his credits because he's a former law clerk for Justice Gorsuch, former chief counsel for nominations for the U.S. Senate Committee on Judiciary. He knows what he's talking about. Mike, welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for joining us, my friend.
Thank you for having me back.
Well, Mike, you write a piece here, and we're going to re-exit out in a second. Justice is coming for perpetrators of Arctic frost. This is amazing what has gone on here. Not that you didn't warn us about it from day one, but walk us through this great piece, if you would, Mike Davis.
Yeah, this is on FoxNews.com, Joe, and this is related to Crossfire Hurricane, which we've talked about on your show for 3 years. But yes, Arctic frost is where the Biden Justice Department, including Attorney General Merrick Garland, Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco, and FBI Director Chris Wray, used January 6th as a pretext, as a predicate, to open up this wide investigation on a lot of Trump allies, like 400 Trump allies, and where these Biden Justice Department officials made a big political mistake is they spied on 9 U.S. senators, 9 Republican U.S. senators. It was just they were just trying to, like, it's Stasi-style stuff that you see in China or the old Soviet Union, where they're just putting out a dragnet to spy on political enemies. And they used January 6th as the excuse. And they were even targeting people who had nothing to do with January 6th. And again, as I always say, the only crime on January 6th was trespassing into the Capitol and rioting and the people who attacked law enforcement. It is not a crime to object to a presidential election. It's allowed by the Electoral Count Act of 1887 and the First Amendment. That's why you don't see Democrats being investigated and going to jail for objecting to Republican wins in 1968, 2000, 2004, and 2016. But with Jack Smith and these and Garland and Lisa Monaco and Chris Wray, it was really a knockout punch. They were trying to take out all of Trump world, all of MAGA. Again, the mistake they made is going after 9 U.S. senators as part of this, because there is a clear federal statute that when you spy on the phones of U.S. senators, you have to notify the Senate before you do that. And they did not do that here. And they ran to this corrupt judge we've talked about before, this D.C. Obama judge, Jeb Boasberg. This is the same Jeb Boasberg. This is the same Jeb Boasberg who he opened up his courtroom and exposed an ongoing military operation endangering American and allied lives to have President Trump turn around military planes in the middle of an operation while the planes are over the Gulf of America and you don't know the fuel levels. Fortunately, those planes landed in El Salvador and not where Boasberg wanted, but then he wanted to take down the Trump Justice Department. This is the same Boasberg, and then I'll stop. This is the same Boasberg who freed from jail, overruled a magistrate judge, and freed from jail this woman who made death threats, very serious death threats against the President of the United States, which is a crime, and then actually traveled from New York City to the White House where the Secret Service apprehended her, and Judge Boasberg freed this woman and let her out of jail instead of being in jail on detention. Remember, this is the same Boasberg who locked up Trump supporters in pretrial detention for months and even years, but someone who's trying to kill President Trump gets freed by Boasberg. I have called for Jeb Boasberg's impeachment for a long time, and it's really starting to pick up speed here.
Yeah, you're right. Mike writes, even more alarmingly, Jack Smith subpoenaed AT&T to tap the office line of Senator Ted Cruz of Texas. And this is what Mike was just talking about. AT&T, Mike writes, declined to do so on the advice of counsel, but could not disclose Smith's request thanks to an order from radical D.C. Obama Judge James Boasberg. What's with the judges, Mike? And thank you for bringing impeachment. So every thing that happens, from terrorists to the security of you and I walking down the street, what's the impetus behind these judges? We keep talking about it, but I don't see, is it just a virtue signaling? But I think it's more than that. Are they being paid off by Soros to just vote, to just put every decision against America, Mike?
So what President Obama did was remember, when President Obama was in office, it used to take 60 votes in the Senate to get judges through. And so even the Democrat judges had to have significant bipartisan support. Well, the Democrats nuked the filibuster for judicial nominees, for lower court judicial nominees. So you only needed 50 votes plus the vice president to jam through these judicial nominees. And so they put radical activist judges on the D.C. District Court and the D.C. Circuit Court, and it's really bad. I mean, the Jeb Boasberg is a corrupt judge, and I don't say that lightly as a lawyer. Not only is he extremely lawless in his rulings and biased against President Trump, he's also extremely dangerous. And dangerous in these three examples, again, turning around planes, exposing an ongoing military operation, and endangering American and allied lives. We saw the thousands of people in El Salvador, intel military police who were ready to accept the worst terrorists in the Western Hemisphere when Trump deported these guys. And then Boasberg orders the planes turned around. We didn't have that same security footprint in America. I mean, that's the perfect recipe for a terrorist ambush, and to get these people freed and get a lot of Americans killed in America. And you saw this with the woman who threatened to kill President Trump and then traveled to the White House. The magistrate judge put that woman in jail, and then Boasberg overruled the magistrate judge and freed her. And then when you're spying on your political allies, including United States senators, a clear separation of powers problem, a clear violation of federal statute by Boasberg saying that you can't tell the senators that you're spying on them with no factual basis whatsoever, as Ted Cruz has pointed out. I mean, this guy is a disaster. He's dangerous. He needs to be impeached by the House of Representatives immediately.
And will they step up? Do you think the Republicans will step up in that regard, start impeaching these judges one by one? How great would that be, Mike Davis? Will they do that?
I hope so, but I'll tell you what, Joe, it seems like the D.C. swamp is the only place on the planet where the reptiles, they lack backbone. So I don't know if the House Republicans have the backbone to do this. They absolutely should, because there needs to be a powerful deterrence for these judges. I don't call for impeachment of judges willy-nilly. I have rarely done it. I have rarely done it. But this is a clear example where this is a rogue, partisan, unhinged, extremely dangerous judge with D.C. Obama judge Jeb Boasberg, and he needs to be impeached. If you don't impeach him, if you don't make him go through a trial, if you don't have in the Senate for the impeachment trial, if you don't have that powerful deterrence, these radical activist judges are going to keep being emboldened.
And this piece is great. We just re-X'd it out by Mike Davis. Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and the FBI are not sitting on the sidelines while the criminal process plays out under the superb leadership of Attorney General Pam Bondi and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. And then I love that you give us some good news, what's happening here. The FBI has also been at the forefront. This is what they've done on drug seizures, taking enough fentanyl off the streets to kill 127 million Americans, Mike Davis writes. And the government also seized more than 190,000 kilos of cocaine, 8,000 kilos of methamphetamine. In addition, the Trump administration has taken more than 6,000 illegal weapons off the streets. I'll tell you, violent crime arrests are up 100%. Gang arrests are up 200%. Thank you for putting that in there, Mike. I swear to goodness gracious, thank you for that. Man, I'm telling you, it's good that we're the media, and that because you could put this out and people will read it. Like the old mainstream media, they won't touch anything like this. So there's good things happening, and because a lot of us feel when you tell us things, Mike, and you go dig into it at Article 3, we go, oh man, look what's happening, and then you see the politicians dance their way around it. We're going to see results under this administration, and I think that President Trump is going to kind of make sure that these congressmen, the Republicans, take some of these errant judges, and I'm being kind, to task, correct? I mean, the administration will pressure, hopefully, Congress to do something, Mike Davis, right?
They will, and I want to praise Attorney General Pam Bondi. She has bigger balls than all the Republican attorneys general combined. She has a great deputy in Todd Blanche, the FBI director Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, the deputy FBI director, Judge Janine Pirro, the D.C. U.S. attorney who's locking up these criminals left and right, Lindsay Halligan, the U.S. attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia who's going after all these deep state actors like Comey and then Big Tish, James for mortgage fraud. Jason Redding Quinones is confirmed as the U.S. attorney down in Miami, and I think that justice is definitely coming. So to these lawfare Democrats, lawyer up.
Yeah, Mike, always fascinating. And you're telling us, before we let you go, sir, that those judges that are errant in their decisions and almost anti-American in their anti-human in so many respects, that impeachment is possible. And if someone is listening to us this morning, Mike, you could walk them through the impeachment process, correct?
Absolutely. You don't do this willy-nilly. The impeachment standard for federal judges is very high. The judges have to have what's called good behavior under the Constitution. Judge Boasberg has a clear pattern of being clearly lawless and shockingly dangerous. Those two things make his pattern impeachable.
Mike, thank you. Always a searing conversation, always on the good side for this great country. Thank you, Mike. Keep up the great work. Come back when you can, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mike Davis right there.